Welcome to Fractured Chaos.
You ever look into the eyes of the person who made you hate yourself for years and wonder if they'd recognize you now? Because I looked Brielle dead in the face during her performance review, while she sat across from my mahogany desk, and she whispered, "Thank you for this opportunity, Ms. Louise." And all I could think was, that's funny. Because 15 years ago, you used to call me Dog-Faced Serena every single day of high school. And now, I'm signing your paychecks. I wasn't just bullied in high school. I was targeted. Every hallway was a war zone. And Brielle, the queen bee with lip gloss and a knife for a tongue, was my personal terrorist. She led the charge. Ugly. Flat. Weird nose. Why are your eyebrows fighting? I'd get home and scrub my face till it hurt, hoping something would change. It didn't. Not until years later. But here's what Brielle didn't know. Every insult, every laugh behind my back, I remembered it. I even remembered the day she poured iced coffee on my thrift store jeans and said, "Oops, guess poor and ugly is a package deal." She smiled like it was casual, like ruining someone was a hobby. I said nothing then, but I speak now. The glow-up wasn't just physical, though sure, I invested in myself. Better skincare. Personal trainer. Therapy to fix what she broke inside me. But the real transformation? That was mental. While Brielle was posting selfies and collecting likes, I was collecting degrees. MBA from Wharton. Internships that turned into positions. Positions that turned into promotions. I climbed every rung she thought I'd never reach. And when the corner office became mine at 32, I wasn't looking for just any company to acquire. I was waiting for hers. TechFlow Solutions. Her little startup where she was head of creative strategy, a fancy title for someone who made mood boards and posted on social media. The acquisition was smooth, almost too easy. And there, buried in the employee roster, was a name that made my pulse quicken. Brielle Morrison. She'd kept her maiden name professionally. Smart move. Too bad it wouldn't save her. The first day I walked into that office as CEO, she didn't recognize me. 15 years, 3 cities, and a confidence makeover will do that. She shook my hand and said, "Welcome to the team, Ms. Louise. I'm so excited to work under your leadership." Under my leadership, the irony was delicious. I smiled and said, "I have a feeling we're going to know each other very well." For months, I watched her, studied her patterns, her weaknesses. She was still the same person, taking credit for other people's work, throwing colleagues under the bus, playing politics instead of producing results. But now I had the power to document it all. Every missed deadline, every project she sabotaged, every time she blamed her team for her failures. I built a file that would make any HR department weep, but I wasn't ready to pull that trigger yet, because something even more interesting was happening. Jason Morrison started showing up to office events. Brielle's husband, tall, charming, successful in his own right. He owned a chain of gyms, drove a Tesla, and wore his wedding ring like an accessory he could remove when convenient. The first time he hit on me was at the company holiday party. Brielle was across the room, networking with clients, when Jason cornered me by the bar. "You're the new boss, right? Brielle talks about you all the time." "All good things, I hope." He laughed. "She's intimidated by you. Says you're too pretty to be that smart." He leaned closer. I told her that's impossible. Smart is the sexiest thing about a woman. I smiled and excused myself, but I also started recording. The messages started a week later. LinkedIn became Instagram, became text messages. Jason Morrison was persistent, I'll give him that. "Coffee sometime? Would love to pick your brain about business." "My wife doesn't understand the pressure of leadership like you would." Each message carefully screenshotted. Each phone call recorded. When he suggested we meet at his private gym after hours to discuss a potential partnership, I knew I had everything I needed. But the final piece came when he showed up at my office unannounced. "Brielle's at her book club," he said, closing the door behind him. "Thought we could finally have that conversation." "What conversation is that, Jason?" "Come on, Serena. You know there's something between us. You feel it too." That's when he made his move. Tried to kiss me right there in my office, with security cameras rolling and my voice recorder running. I stepped back. Jason, I think you should leave. Just give me a chance. I can give you things Brielle never could. I know you're lonely. Successful women like you always are. I'm not lonely, Jason, but you're about to be. The next morning, I called Brielle into my office. She walked in confident, probably thinking she was finally going to get that promotion she'd been hinting about. Brielle, please sit down. We need to discuss your performance. Of course. I've been meaning to schedule this conversation. I think I'm ready for more responsibility, maybe a director-level role. I slid a folder across the desk. Actually, we need to discuss this. She opened it. Her face went white as she saw the screenshots, the recordings, the security footage of her husband trying to force himself on me in this very office. I don't understand. Your husband has been harassing me for months, Brielle. Propositioning me, making unwanted advances. Yesterday, he physically tried to assault me. That's not possible. Jason wouldn't. The evidence speaks for itself. Now, I have two options here. I can file a police report and pursue this legally, which would be very public and very messy for both of you. Or what? You resign, today, quietly, and you handle your husband's behavior before I'm forced to handle it for you. She stared at the photos, at her husband's messages, at the timestamp showing yesterday's date. Why are you doing this to me? I leaned back in my chair. Do you remember a girl named Serena Louise from Lincoln High School? The recognition hit her like a slap. Her mouth fell open. Dog-faced Serena. The girl whose jeans you ruined with coffee. The girl you made cry in every hallway. The girl you told would never amount to anything. Oh my God. I kept every insult, Brielle. Every cruel word. Every day you made me feel worthless. And now? I gestured around my corner office. Now I decide your worth. She tried to bargain, tried to apologize, tried to explain that high school was so long ago, and she was just a kid. But I wasn't that scared girl anymore. I was the woman who built an empire while she built a social media following. I was the CEO while she was the employee. I was the one with power now. Your resignation letter is already drafted, I said, sliding another paper across the desk. Sign it, or I release everything to your husband's business partners, your social media followers, and the local news. Your choice. She signed. 6 months later, I heard through mutual connections that the Morrisons were divorced. Jason lost half his gym locations in the settlement. Brielle moved back in with her parents and started working at a local boutique. Do I feel bad? Not for a second, because I didn't destroy their marriage. Jason did that when he thought he could use his power to manipulate women. Brielle enabled it by marrying a man who clearly had a pattern of this behavior. I just held up a mirror and showed them who they really were. The best part? I never had to lie. Never had to manipulate. Never had to become the villain they tried to make me. I just became successful. And sometimes success is the sweetest revenge of all. When people ask me if it was worth it, the years of work, the careful planning, the patient waiting, I just smile and say, ask them. Because the girl they called worthless, she's worth about 50 million now. And the queen bee who thought she'd rule forever? She's learning that kingdoms fall when you build them on cruelty. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting ahead. So far ahead that when they finally look up to see where you are, all they can see is the bottom of your designer heels. High school taught me a lot of things, but the most important lesson wasn't from any textbook. It was this. The kids who peak in high school, they spend the rest of their lives falling. And the kids they push down, some of us get back up. We get up, we get even, and we get everything we were told we'd never deserve. My name is Serena Louise. I'm 34 years old. I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and I'm just getting started.